Roll up, roll up. Welcome, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Stand around and admire the unlimited grievance engine. Problematic. Step right up, you won't believe your eyes. Hi guys, it's Flattmeister here. Cuphead is racist. Cuphead is sexist. Cuphead is ableist. I'm physically disabled and I can play play Cuphead perfectly fine. Yeah, still stuck on the Zeppelin. Get to the moon phase. That's tough. Anyway, Cuphead's been trawled through the mud. All these SJW regressive game journalists trying to use anything they can to dig their claws in and try to distract and pull away from the success that MDHR Studios, is that right? I think it's MDHR. I probably got that the completely wrong way around. I swear it's MDHR. Yeah. But this... Yo dog, I heard you like articles, so I put an article in the article so you can read the article, yeah? Kotaku are too fucking lazy to write up their own opinion that they end up just basically echoing what someone else wrote. So Ethan Gack on Kotaku goes, "It's impossible to separate Cuphead from the era that inspired it. You know, heaven forbid that a game can just take an inspiration from a certain visual style or anything." But no. So they link to this essay that over at Unwinnable, and that's quite a apt name for your website, Unwinnable, because you can never win with these SJWs. They always have to seek something out that's problematic, something that offends them. Basically, this Yusef Cole over at Unwinnable writes an article, "Cuphead and the Racist Spectre of Fleischer Animation." Goes in to go, yeah, and I was right, it's MDHR. Oh, it's a Canadian company, I didn't realise. But basically, he's annoyed that the game and the developers don't address the racist history that the art style that inspired Cuphead. Or how come the developers and the game Cuphead don't address the history of that animation style? So anyway, the Kotaku article's shorter. I'll leave a link to both. Yeah, this Kotaku guy, this Ethan Gack. "Cuphead is a beautiful looking game with tight controls and grueling combat." I can agree with that. Yep, it's a great game. I'm really enjoying it. Even though it's tough, I'm enjoying it. It's good fun. Grueling combat that culminates in game unlike many others. But as a throwback to the animation of the early 20th century, it finds its muse in a troubling past it never gets around to actually confronting. Why does it need to confront that stuff? It's simply using the animation style. What, is no film allowed to include black and white with a curb stomp? Because, oh, that references American History X, and how come you're not addressing curb stomping black people in black and white in black and white film grain? I was reaching there, and that's exactly what the this Yusef Cole over at Unwinnable does. He's reaching. He's upset that they don't address any of the racism, so he can't then complain about racism in game. Because if Cuphead developers were to address racism in the game, and then SJW like, "Oh, well, you've not tackled the topic correctly or the right way. Oh, you've tackled it really insensitively." It's a game about anthropomorphic objects, plants, and cups. You know, everyday objects. I mean, the lead guy, the King Dice, Mr. King Dice, the guy in charge of the casino, is a guy in a purple suit with a dice for a head. There's a famous saying often attributed to Sigmund Freud that goes, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Yeah. A cigar is just a cigar. While he almost certainly didn't actually say it, the quote lives on because of the appeal of its underlying logic. Not everything has another layer, a hidden meaning, or a secret agenda. Exactly. Some things can just purely be just that. Just what it is. As persuasive as this logic can sometimes be, however, it's often born of exhaustion or hopelessness rather than insight, like when J.J. Geitz is told at the end of the movie, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown." At the end of what movie? Who's J.J. Geitz? Probably people in the comments will go, "Oh, don't you know what film he's referencing there?" And there's a link when it says "is told at the end of the movie," like, oh, click on the link. Oh, it's from the movie Chinatown, right? Was that Jack Nicholson? Oh, where were we? A lot of people, yeah, they're that lazy that they don't even reference what movie they're talking about in that sense there. It's like when J.J. Geitz is told at the end of the movie, "Forget it," and they just put that line, and then that link just links to the YouTube of that movie. They don't tell you what movie. Anyway, a lot of people have wanted to do the same with Studio MDHR's latest game and say something along the lines of, sometimes a cup is just a cup. Exactly, a cup is just a cup. It's just a simple story about Cuphead and Mugman. They get in debt because they got gambling problems. The devil offers them a get out of jail free card, you know, like, it gives them a second chance, like, look, well, I can wipe away your debt, hunt down these people that owe me their souls. That's the story. There's no underlying... God. Over at Unwinnable, Yusuf Cole convincingly shows why that's not the case. He is not convincing at all. In an essay titled "Cuphead and the Racist Spectre of Fleischer Animation," he argues that the imagery used in the game borrows from tropes and characters intended as a rebuke against the culture and music associated with black people in the 1930s. By taking the good parts of this tradition of animation and leaving the bad, Cuphead ends up whitewashing the past. Because they're not talking about black, they're anthropomorphic characters. Of objects. They're not of people. They're just merely using the visual style. There's nothing about racism at all. God. So he writes, by sidestepping this kind of over-the-top caricature, Cuphead attempts to represent the best of the jazz era's relationship with cartoons. There's a lot of good to be found. Calloway is an electric performer, and cartoons like the Fleischer 1933 films The Old Man of the Mountain and Betty Boop in Snow White do far better justice to his inimitable style. At the same time, these examples feature his voice in the body of an old white man and a white-faced clown respectively. When it comes time for cartoons to represent him as a human being, his lips balloon up, his eyes grow, and he is forced into the minstrel mould. The only way that animation studios seem to be able to envision black characters for decades. That Cuphead follows the path of the Fleischers and hides what could have been his likeness behind an anthropomorphic talking dice is historically in line with black representation in animation. Once it becomes faux pas to depict black characters as minstrels and racist caricatures, then the solution appears to be not depicting them at all, because yeah, Cuphead isn't depicting them. They're anthropomorphic characters. This is honestly, they really are reaching. At two different points, Cole quotes the creators behind the game. First is an interview with artist Maha Moldenhauer, who said, "It's just visuals and that's about it." Exactly, I agree with that completely. Anything else happening in that area, in that era, we're not versed in. We're not versed in it. The second time, it's something that designer Chad Moldenhauer Chad told Kotaku a couple of weeks ago. We went into the game knowing that what we wanted from the era was the technical, artistic merit, while leaving all the garbage behind. You can find it in everything from the era: film, advertisement, everything. We wanted to take the style but make it our own. We tried to focus on our likes and dislikes and steer away from any of that. I mean, they did a fantastic job. It's got that sort of Steamboat Willie feel about it. So Kotaku quoting Chad's little bit there, go, all the garbage. In this case means the deep-seated racism and reactionary politics which surrounded early American animation. Honestly, developers, they can't seem to catch a break. They can't win with these SJWs. You didn't. Yes, leaving all of the horrible stuff in history, horrible racism and discrimination against people. Art doesn't arise out of nothing, from no one and from nowhere. People create it, and people should be free to create what they want. So fucking back off, Kotaku. The dream of being able to look to the past and extricate what we find free from baggage is understandable, but as Cole shows, can have the unintended consequence of compounding the sin. Where characters of colour were originally depicted with racist imagery, they now risk not getting depicted at all. So you're basically saying, yeah, you haven't put racist caricature depictions in your game, so now we can't complain. We're complaining that we can't complain about your racist depictions. And then he goes, you can read the rest of Cole's essay over at Unwinnable. Yes, people realise racism. People know racism is bad, and in the past it was a horrible racist time in history. But it's really reaching, like going, people aren't pretending like that stuff didn't happen. It's like, newsflash, just an animation. It's just a game using just the artistic style. That sort of, the way the characters move, sort of like a rubbery hose type thing. But there was a bit in his essay where he said that basically, yeah. So yeah, in Unwinnable's article, he was saying that Cuphead follows the path of the flashes and hides what could have been his likeness behind an anthropomorphic talking dice. Is historically in line with black representation in animation. Once the solution appears to be not depicting them at all. Yeah, what's the point? I've said this about SJWs with female character, like with the Polygon getting triggered by the violence against women in the Last of Us 2 trailer. If creators can't create strong female characters that face adversity, they're not going to bother. They're like, well, okay, we're not going to bother creating any female characters then. And it's Sarkeesian and all the other feminist bloggers can keep on whinging like, oh, where's my female characters, my representation? I'm like, well, and developers are like, well, we fucking tried. I mean, take for instance like Star Wars Battlefront 2, like the lead female character, and obviously her likeness is based off the actress that plays that character. And it makes me wonder whether, I haven't sought this stuff out, but it makes me wonder if feminists go, oh, unrealistic physical appearance, body standards in Star Wars, where's my ugly characters? Basically, Cuphead did its own thing. It took inspiration from the style, the animation style, and the sort of visual appearances. I think they did a fantastic job. I think a lot of these game journalists are annoyed. This game has reached success. It's sold several million copies now, I think. They're kind of annoyed that this small game has become so successful, but they still want to. The journalists want their fair share of clicks. They want their ad revenue. So they're creating all these articles to try and ride on the coattails of MDHR's success. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'll leave in the description the link to the Kotaku and the Unwinnable article. Give the essay a read. I mean, it's an interesting read. He's saying about everything is problematic. I mean, here when he says Cuphead is supposed to be a fun game. Yeah, exactly. It's just supposed to be a fun game. A run and gun, kill the bosses. The Dark Souls of platform side-scrolling shooting games and stuff. Yeah. And it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Yet playing it brings along that particular queasiness one gets when forced to ignore. Sorry, I'm repeating myself here. I'm just forced to ignore problematic parts of media in order to enjoy it. I'm not being forced to ignore it. I'm just... Sometimes a cup is just a cup, Yusuf. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. But here you go. After all, it's difficult to enjoy the same images that brought down houses I would never have been allowed to enter. It's hard to overlook a style that was also used to belittle and stigmatize blackness to the extent that we are still fighting to regain our own image. Sometimes a cup is just a cup. But, as you know, that's just like I said, roll up everybody, come, you won't believe your eyes. Welcome to the unlimited grievance engine, the problematic 9000. Like, an art style isn't inherently racist. It's just a style. I mean, you see this all in university campuses. We hear about it. They're banning screenings of certain plays like Casablanca or whatever, or Gone with the Wind, all these other old movies that are, a stereotype character. But yeah, that was a different time, different era. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think of all this. Am I being an ignorant white cisgendered male? Check your white privilege, Flattmeister. You're blinded by your privilege. Yeah, am I being ignorant, or are these people blowing everything out of proportion, finding everything problematic? Are they seeking to be, the unlimited grievance machine engine, the problematic 9000? So yeah, write a comment down below. Tell me what you think of just all this crap. So don't forget to do all that like and subscribe stuff. I'm also on Minds and VidMe. I also upload the videos on there as well, so sort of share that around as well. So I'm Flattmeister. I'll catch you in the next video. See you.
Yes, I am here, your worshipfulness. Yes?
Yuba Colorado Kamawalpa. Yes, Kachon Kawawoki.